Diet for diabetics is a very important topic. So many people who are diabetic are always asking, what should I eat? What shouldn't I eat? It is so confusing. And today, this is the question that we will be discussing and we'll be answering. So you must watch all the way until the end of the episode so you get the full information that's going to help you. So this is the Dr. Tebz show, and we're putting your health back into your hands. Today, I'm being joined by Carla Lawrence. She is a fantastic dietitian, very heartfelt, loving, and so sweet. And I'm so happy that she's joining me today to discuss this topic with you. So hi, Carla, how are you?
Hello, I'm good, and you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
So today we're discussing diets for diabetics. Actually, this question came up because one of the people who follow me on YouTube asked me, they're diabetic and they actually don't know what they should be eating.
Okay.
So I thought this is a very topical type of subject. So yeah. So can you tell us what is insulin? Because we need to understand the basics before we can go deeper.
So insulin basically is a hormone. And insulin carries your glucose or the sugar in your body to wherever it is needed. So when you eat something that is high in sugar, it will release insulin, and insulin will take whatever sugar is in the blood to wherever it's needed in the body.
Okay, so we know that diabetes or diabetics have got this insulin resistance. So there's two types. There's one where they don't produce insulin at all, so then they can't absorb the sugar, and then there's where it's resistant. They're not as sensitive to the insulin levels. So how do people make themselves, more sensitive, the diabetics? How do they make their body more sensitive to insulin?
Okay, so that will be type 2 diabetes.
Yes.
Okay, type 1 diabetes is the one where they don't have insulin at all, and that's a completely different topic on its own. So with the type 2 diabetes, with being able to absorb insulin, how to become insulin sensitive is basically to exercise, follow a healthy diet, balanced diet, so make sure you have all your food groups, and basically that's how you're going to become insulin sensitive.
Okay.
In a nutshell.
In a nutshell.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense, obviously.
Yes.
Diabetics are told you need to cut out all sugar. You need to end it. Is that true? Do they really need to just, go cold turkey with sugar?
Yeah. So basically what happens in type 2 diabetes, I always try to paint the analogy of a taxi, for example. So when you get into a taxi, to a certain point it gets to a certain capacity, so it gets full. So that's basically our blood sugar. So if someone's standing outside and they are insulin, for example, and they want to get into the taxi, they can't get into the taxi because it's full. So someone has to get out in order for the next person to get in.
Exactly.
So basically the same thing happens in our bodies with regards to high blood sugar levels. So we've got so much sugar in our blood, and the insulin there's just one insulin for like 5 different people, and so the insulin can only take one, and then there's still 4 left over, for example. So that's what happens with high blood sugar levels in the body. So most things that we eat contain sugar or gets turned into sugar. So carbohydrates, for example. Okay, so that food group specifically. And that is why there's this perception that carbohydrates or sugars need to be cut out of the diet. But it's not that. It's the amount that you're going to take in. So the other analogy that I use is if you have a glass, for example, and you have water in the glass, and you put lots of sugar in. If you put this much sugar in, you're still going to have a little bit of liquid, right? But if you fill that glass with sugar, it's going to be just sugar and nothing else. So that's the other thing. So it's how much you put in as well. That's important. So no, you don't cut out all the sugar. It's just the amount of sugar that you have or that you take in to regulate the blood sugar levels and to make sure that the insulin takes it where it needs to go.
Okay, so
Yeah.
now that I'm sure all the diabetics are relieved to hear that. So now that you've explained that, you know what, not all sugars need to be cut out. So what is the type of diet a diabetic person should follow? I mean, is it, you know, in terms of the carbohydrates, as you said, the proteins and the veggies and the fruits. And let's actually break it down slowly, because I feel like each group needs its attention.
Needs its own attention, yeah.
So now let us start with the vegetables, because I feel like that's the easiest, because it feels like it's salty. There's no carbohydrates or sugar in it.
Yes.
So let's start with the veggies. What is permitted? What is not permitted? What is suggested, recommended?
Yeah. So basically everything is recommended. Okay. Once again, it's just the amount and how you prepare your vegetables that's going to have an impact on your health. So with regards to vegetables, you get vegetables that are higher in starch, and those that are not. So we call them starchy and non-starchy vegetables. So your potato, for example, your sweet potato, butternut, and your pumpkin, these are your starchy vegetables.
Okay, so if we put them like this here, so everyone at home can have a look, see?
Yes.
So these are our starchy vegetables.
These are your starchy vegetables. So not to say that these need to be excluded from your diet, because they still have a role to play in your diet. So it's very important to include these in your diet. What you can do, for example, if you make a meal that has rice, for example, that is a carbohydrate, then you can limit the amount of potato or butternut or pumpkin that you add with that meal, because this will count as a carbohydrate. Or your starch. So that is why instead of having rice, you can have potato, or you can have sweet potato, butternut, pumpkin, for example. Okay, so these are your starchy vegetables. Your greens and your tomato, your onion, your green beans,
so these
mushrooms, like that. These are non-starchy veg. So these you can have in abundance. So these you can have at every meal. And what we also recommend is, you know, when you go back for seconds for meal, instead of going back for extra meat or extra rice, for example, go back for extra salad. So load your plates with salad and vegetables. Okay, so those are the non-starchy vegetables, and you can have as much as those as you want to. And then obviously the cauliflower and broccoli as well. These are good without the white sauce as well, because you know that's the common.
Put this here into our little group, in our little family,
because they look so sad all alone.
They look so alone.
And broccoli is amazing. I mean, broccoli with most meals are really good, and it's quite a common food item. And you can also get them frozen, and you can cook them from being frozen as well. So those are your vegetable groups.
Okay, and so then in a nutshell, these you can have in abundance. This you must balance it with your rices and other starch, carbohydrates.
So it's not to say, I just want to say again, don't cut out these vegetables. It's just that these are considered carbohydrates. So these will definitely have an impact on blood sugar levels.
Okay. I hope you all heard that. At home. Yes. Okay, cool. So now that we've done the veggies, maybe we can move on to the fruits. So now let's move over to the fruits, and then so talk us through this, because this is where everybody's like minefield.
So there's a big question around fruit, and I had someone in the come into the practice that refused to include fruit in their diet because of the fact that fruit contains sugar. So fruit does contain sugar. It's fructose. It's a natural sugar, right? So that's why they're sweet. That's why they taste nice, because they contain a natural form of sugar. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with fruit. There isn't a good or a bad fruit. Bananas are not the enemy, because this is shampoo banana. They're actually one of my favorite fruits. I mean, in a smoothie, banana is the best. It's just very tasty. So there is no one fruit to cut out. Fruit in moderation like everything else, is important in the diet. Fruits contain vitamins and minerals that are very important in supporting the body. So to include it, it's got fiber, all of those things in. It's very important to include fruit in the diet. So this apple, for example, I mean, if you look at other apples in the stores, or usually when we buy apples, we look like for the biggest one.
Yes.
But this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. So I also, same thing I did with the nuts. If it fits into your palm, then that's a portion and that's enough. And what I also tell my clients is, you're not going to have 5 apples.
No.
So you know the whole 5 apples
The
a
day
day.
keeps the doctor away.
Yes. So 1 apple a day is fine.
Yeah.
And have different fruits, because different fruits have different vitamins in, and they all essential in the body, and they all have different functions. So bananas will have potassium, for example. Strawberries will have vitamin C, for example. So different fruits have different nutritional value as well. So yeah, that's fruit. Anything, you can have everything in the diet. They're good antioxidants as well. So your blueberries, and these are so tasty in smoothies.
Yes.
And you can even include them in
like cereals and
cereals,
yogurts and
yes,
stuff in the
yes.
morning.
Yes.
So now, you know, someone's asking themselves, okay, so can I have a banana and an apple and a pear and a plum and a straw, it's like a few strawberries and this for lunch? Is that fine?
No.
Because
So
now they want the sugar, they want the sweet stuff.
Yes. So look, when we do a smoothie, for example,
Yes.
you're potentially going to put in your banana, your strawberry, and your blueberries,
Yes.
right? So those are already 3 fruits. So
Yes.
with different people,
Yeah.
I will recommend different amounts of fruit per day.
Per day.
So the general serving is 2 to 3 servings. So at 1 serving,
Yes.
I would not recommend to have such a big amount.
okay.
So if you're going to do like a mixed fruit salad, for example, 1 cup of that would be sufficient, because you must remember it does contain sugar, so
Yes.
natural sugar, but it is going to push up your blood sugar levels. And we don't want, in a diabetic person, we don't want rapid blood sugar
Going up and down those
increases and
things,
dips.
yes.
Yes, we need stable blood sugars. So I won't recommend such a large amount, at
Okay.
one sitting.
All right.
So if they're going to do like a fruit salad, I would say a cup, and have it with like a yogurt or something,
Yes.
complementary
Yes.
with it, and not just all that, and not in like just an empty stomach, because
Yeah.
that will increase the blood sugars very quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, they can have like an apple for breakfast. Then later on in lunch, they can have a banana maybe.
Yes.
And then later on, they can have like a small bunch of grapes, and that's it.
Yes.
That's enough.
So yeah,
Okay.
it's
just in a nutshell.
Yeah, it's usually well complemented with a meal.
Yes.
So like after you've had your breakfast, or even as a snack or that type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the important thing is that you must have it with food. Do not eat it alone.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's great. And then I want to find out, like, for example, these dried fruits and this, is this okay for a snack?
It is okay. And once again, portion size is important.
Portion size.
Portion size. So we usually would have, we'll buy a bag, and the whole day you'll just snack on it because it's dried fruit, it's healthy, and you'll just eat all of it. But portion size is very important.
Okay.
So you're only going to have a handful of your dried fruit.
Okay. All right. And then now, with regards to protein.
Yes.
Because now, obviously, they're exercising, we're trying to lose weight here, control our sugar, get our bodies. So protein is important.
Yes.
So, like, what type of proteins can diabetics, or people with diabetes enjoy?
Yeah.
You know?
So lean meats are the best. Eggs are fine, and then some fish as well.
Yes.
Fish is such a good source of fat also, but also protein. So that can be included as well.
Yep.
And then on that note, with regards to protein, caution needs to be, you need to be cautious about the amount of processed meats that is consumed, because these are very high in fat. And you generally don't know what is in a processed product.
So wait, explain for the viewers at home what you mean by processed. I had to Google this, by the way.
Did you?
Yes, because I didn't know what you
Yes.
processed.
Oh, shame. Okay. So processed meat are basically your, I won't say off cuts of meat, but it's a more I can't get to the word.
It's like meat that it's like the leftover pieces that they take and then they break it down and they mix it to something else to make.
And it's generally your cheaper version of protein as well. And it's mixed with a whole lot of other things, so you're not entirely sure what the percentage of your actual protein or your actual meat is in there.
So for example, our Liyanas, our polonies, those
yes, bacon, those are all processed meats. And even in some foods like pies and samosas and those kinds of things, they also add processed meats.
So now we know what processed meats are. Thank you, Carla.
Yes, no problem. So processed meats should be limited, and then you have include things like leaner meats, so like your chicken breast, those kinds of things.
So like this one.
Yes.
This is, guys.
Yes. Yeah. So they leaner portions of meat, and that's recommended. So if you buy lots of red meat as well, you can have red meat, but it's quite high in fat. So limit the amount of red meats that you consume. And also, if you buy meats with lots of fat on, try and trim it. So that you can have less fat on your meat as well. Yeah. Also, sorry, on the legumes thing. Beans, peas, lentils, chickpeas are also good examples.
So these are lentils. Yes, this table is getting nice and full.
Lentils. Some beans.
These are beans.
Chickpeas as well.
Yes, those are chickpeas.
Chickpeas. These are all good protein sources as well.
I think these are more lentils. These I think they're whole.
It's the same, but that's brown lentils, green and
orange. So there's no real difference, just the color.
Yes.
That's
flavor. I think it
and
tastes
also
different
flavor
as well. They cook different as well, but I think this is more split peas actually. But those also contain protein, soya as well, tofu, those kinds of things people can include for good healthy protein sources as well.
It's amazing that as someone with diabetes, there's a lot you can eat.
A lot.
I think we just focus on what we can't eat, and then we're just like, oh my gosh, I can't eat this, I can't eat that. So you know what? There's nothing.
I think that's what we do generally. We focus on the negative and we forget about the good things that we can have. There's a lot of, they can basically eat everything that any other person eats.
It's just that, as I always say to some of my patients, you see the sweeties and the cakes and which are loaded with a lot of sugar. That you have to stay away from. Is that true or not?
I think moderation again.
Really?
And just being cautious. So look, like I said to you before, life happens. So a diabetic person is going to go to a wedding. They're going to go to a end of year function.
Actually, wait, let's go to that. Let's go to that question. Let's go to that question. Because now, you know, they go, as you're saying, they're going to a wedding, they're going to Diwali, they're going to Eid. There's this platter of food, like array of food that's set out, and they also want to enjoy this function. How do they navigate the eating there?
So I think one of the most important things to remember is just you have to maintain healthy habits. So if I, for example, know that I'm going to go to lunch, Christmas lunch, you're still going to have a good healthy breakfast, and then at the lunch now, at the Christmas lunch, the choices that you make around the meal. So depending on whether it is a served kind of event or if it's a buffet, a buffet would be a lot more beneficial because then you can say, okay, half my plate vegetables and salad, and then the other protein and the other my starch. So that is the benefit of being at the buffet. At the served one, it's a bit difficult because they give you whatever portion size. So then you just have to eat it or accept. Or
Yes.
if it's a very, very big meal, like if it's quite a big portion, you don't have to eat the entire meal.
Okay.
You can just have half the portion, or
So you have to be your own controller.
Yes.
So when it comes to dessert now we are there, we are seeing the malva pudding there, the custard, we're seeing the brownies.
Yes.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Fruit salad.
Yes.
And you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So now you get to the buffet, and it's all those choices.
Yes,
and
cheesecake.
generally, what you're gonna do, what most people do is they want this, they want that, they want a little bit of everything, and that's going to completely push their blood sugars high. So my recommendation there would be choose one thing. As hard as it is, choose one thing and go with that. So your favorite thing. So if you love brownies, you can have a brownie. If you like cheesecake, take a piece of cheesecake. But also you're not going to take like this big cheesecake.
Yes.
You know, it's going, just take portion size. Like just take a small amount, the size of your palm, for
Yes.
example, for a brownie or a malva pudding, instead of taking, you know, massive amounts of. So you still enjoy it, you're still having it, but you're not going to have massive amounts of it.
Yeah. But having said that, Carla, I just want to clarify for the people at home that we're not saying that they're not allowed to eat ice cream and chocolate and sweets at home
no.
they said I can eat this much on a daily basis. This is just for special
Yeah.
events, those moments that come up. But on the day-to-day basis, this is what they should be eating.
Yes.
Okay, so you got that right, guys. Do not come and quote us.
Yeah.
You must eat this type of food. Okay, no, then that's fine. So you know, a lot of people they'll find this very hard to fit all of this on a budget because they're thinking. They've got high blood pressure, they've got the high blood, the high cholesterol and the diabetes. Most of this metabolic, we call them metabolic diseases, they go together. And they're thinking, how do I make this work on a budget? You know, I'm sitting in Khayelitsha, I'm sitting, you know, wherever, East River, wherever, and I'm thinking, how do I make this work for me on a budget?
Okay. So meal planning, as I've mentioned before, very important, and meal preparation. So having an idea of this is what I'm going to eat for the week, and then budgeting as well. So budgeting for the food that you need, and assessing what is available to you in your area, because that's something that I've noticed from working in a government facility into going into private, that there's a bit of a difference because availability is not there for everyone. So for instance, I can tell someone to have kale and they go up to the spa, or you know, and they're like, there's no kale. So being aware of what is available as well is very important. And then finding food items that are affordable in every food group. So if you are going to have rice, carb, or bread, that's okay. You can have milli meal or oats. That's your carbohydrate. That's going to be one of your things that you can look at. Things like tin fish is fine. It's a protein. Eggs, you know. So finding those kinds of foods that are affordable, looking for specials. So going into Checkers and saying, okay, the chicken breast is on sale, buying that. Using your legumes, so your beans, your peas, chickpeas, etc. That helps a lot. And then when it comes to fruit, this is a common question with regards to budget, because people always tell me the fruit goes off. So you're not going to buy, if you are alone, if you stay alone, you're not going to buy all of this, because this is going to go off. So you basically buy what you need and you use what you need. There's also now, you can buy frozen fruit now, you can buy frozen vegetables. Those you can also use, and you can just put it into your freezer and you can use as you need, and that will help with not discarding any food or wasting food, and also not spending unnecessary money.
Sure. No, that's very helpful. I think a lot of our viewers at home will be very thankful for that. So Carla, you have really explained this so well. Beautifully. I think, that one viewer who asked me, he's going to be grateful.
It's my pleasure.
So, firstly, where can people contact you? Where can they find you?
Okay, so my office is in Milnerton, Cape Town. My office number is 021 207
Yes.
4820. My cell phone number is 081 454 1886. And my email
Yes.
is carla@wdietitian.co.za.
Okay, so guys, we'll get that on the link below. And so, what are your parting thoughts after all of this?
So my closing thoughts,
Yes.
especially to people that are living with diabetes, is to know your numbers. So know your weight, know your body composition, very important. Know your blood sugar levels, know the amount of energy, carbohydrates, etc. that you need to take in every day, and work with a professional. Work with a
Sure.
dietitian, someone
Yeah.
that can help and guide you. You don't necessarily have to go to someone in private. Our government facilities also have dietitians. So work with someone and so that they can guide you to answer all these questions, because this was just very general.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And I think I'm going to just add a little bit to what you're saying to say that, you know, guys, you must get a dietitian. You know, I think that as people living with diabetes, it's very tempting to think, I'm just going to cut out the sugar, I'm just going to do this, and then I'm done.
Yes.
And yet you are failing yourself and you're failing your body. So it is important, please do get a dietitian. Get in contact with Carla. Okay, that's your first protocol. That's my advice. I love her. I love her to bits. And then the second thing is what I like what you said, that they must know their numbers.
Yes.
Monitoring their sugar is so important.
I think in general, with regards to health, whether it's high blood pressure or cholesterol or any of those type of disease of lifestyle, people just don't know.
Yes.
And know your medication. You know, some people just go to the clinic and just accept medication. Know your medication, know why you're taking it.
Yes.
That's very important. And don't just stop your medication.
Yes.
So if you feel that your blood sugar levels are okay, then some people just stop their medication, and that for me is it's actually quite scary what effect can have on their bodies. So work with your doctor, don't use other people's medication.
True.
Or some people inject extra insulin, you know, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Don't do things like that without consulting your doctor.
Yeah. I love that. That's a beautiful parting or closing thought. So thank you so much, Carla, for being with me today. I really appreciate it. And thank you, viewers, for being with me today as well, coming in and basically joining us in the kitchen. And so if you'd like any more information about this topic and you'd like to contact Carla, we will leave the details or her details below in the description. If you have any questions, please do leave it in the comments. And remember to share, like, and subscribe and push the notification button so you will know when we post our next episode. And you can follow us on our Facebook and Instagram pages on the Dr. Tebz Show. So until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and remember, your health is in your hands. God bless.